our SSPTV newsmaker tonight is Carla Thaler from the Hampton Inn and other resorts locally, and we're here to talk to her a little bit about a little review of 2020. So thanks for joining us here on the program.
Thanks for coming out. We're at our Hampton Inn today. Welcome back.
So you represent 3 of the hotels in the greater Hazleton area.
Right, so I'm our Regional Director of Operations. In Pennsylvania, we have 4 hotels. 3 of them locally are mine. The Hampton Inn by Hilton, which we're at, the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott, and also the Residence Inn by Marriott in Humboldt Station.
Just so people know about the transitions that hotels have gone through, I know they've taken a big hit through 2020 with COVID-19. So walk us through what the year looked like for the hotels in our market since March.
So, I mean, I guess with most businesses, right, you would say that 2020 was probably one of the more challenging years that most of us have had. So when it first occurred, obviously it was a new situation to all of us, and we worked closely with both our brands, Hilton and Marriott, as well as our corporate office, which is located in Buffalo, in addition to all the state mandates and all the CDC regulations. And so we had to implement things like masks, additional hand sanitizer stations. We also had to put markings on the floor so that we had proper social distancing. So it was quite a transition at first, and people were not necessarily aware of it. So we did make additional alerts on our websites. The front desk was communicating as much as they could upon making reservations so that guests were aware when they got here. And for those of the guests that may have missed that information, we had certain PPE supplies stocked on hand so that they would still be compliant during their stay when they were with us.
Now, did you find that it was an adjustment for not only the people that came to stay at the hotel, but also for employees?
Absolutely, because many of our jobs within the hotel are very physical. So, you know, getting used to having a mask on, getting used to wearing gloves, getting used to washing your hands more was certainly an adjustment, but we knew it was for the greater good. So this many months later, I think it's almost become, like people say, the new normal. And there's really no end, I guess, in sight at this point. So it's just become part of our normal routine.
What are some of the creative ways that the hotels have managed to stay afloat in 2020?
Well, thankfully, we're blessed with a very good sales team. So they work closely with our locally negotiated accounts, as well as our team that works with our brides and our grooms and the different social events, many of which were rescheduled from this year, 2020, until next year. So it was basically staying in communications, whether it was through email and phone, and just assuring them that everything that had been set aside and promised for them this year would be carried over into their new reservations in the new year.
Have you found over the year that people are now less hesitant to go and stay in a hotel? At first they were very scared, and now at the end of the year, although COVID is still here and still very serious, are more people traveling?
For us, yes. I would say that we've seen an uptick in travel as opposed to where we were, say, at the end of Q1 and in Q2. And thankfully, I've been blessed to interact with quite a few guests across our properties that actually complement the initiatives that we have in place. And, you know, some of what we do is actually above what's required, and they just seem grateful for having those precautionary measures in place.
And what do you foresee for 2021? Are there any other preparations or plans that the hotel is taking for that year?
So we'll continue to have all the same measures in place, in addition to regularly cleaning all of our surfaces just as much as we have been, if not more, moving into the new year. And depending on what you look at and what source you follow, some say it will be similar to this year, some say it will be a little bit better. So we're just preparing the best way that we can and keeping the hotel and the staff as safe as possible.
Today's news feature is brought to you by the Cheese Store and more in Hazleton. Don't be disappointed. Come in and stock up on Christmas ravioli now.